Imagine this for a second. It's, say, 2030. You're thinking about your next big trip, but instead of, packing bags, dealing with airport security lines, or bracing for jet lag,
Yep.
you just sit down right there in your living room. And the whole world, think the markets of Marrakesh or maybe the temples in Kyoto, it just comes directly to you.
Sounds like pure science fiction, doesn't it?
It really does.
Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. A future where travel, as we know it, has been totally, completely redefined. Our mission here is to unpack how advanced AI, mixed reality, and this idea of hyperconnectivity aren't just changing how you might explore, but actually turning the whole concept of being there from, well, a necessity into more of a choice.
Yeah, and the source material we're looking at for this deep dive, it's really thought-provoking. It paints this incredibly vivid picture of a world where the lines between hopping on a plane and putting on a headset get really, really blurry. It's this imaginative leap into what happens when technology starts to fulfill that, innate human desire to explore. Okay, so let's dig into that core shift first, because it sounds absolutely massive. According to this source, by 2030, travel isn't primarily about physically going somewhere anymore. All those traditional symbols, planes, trains, those super long flights, they become, well, optional, really.
Mm-hmm.
The world literally comes to you instead.
And what's really striking is how this goes way beyond just looking at pictures on a screen. We're talking about AI-enhanced mixed reality headsets delivering full sensory immersion. So think about walking through Tokyo. You're not just seeing the lanterns in Shinjuku. You're actually hearing the buzz of the crowd, smelling the yakitori sizzling nearby, maybe even feeling the texture of a silk kimono in a shop you virtually pass.
Wow.
It's about creating that feeling of real presence.
That level of immersion, it sounds genuinely mind-blowing. But how did we get there? Was it just suddenly, poof, it exists? Or more gradual?
Oh, definitely gradual, not overnight at all. The source traces this really interesting timeline. It started maybe more subtly. Augmented reality tours of museums or historical sites got popular first. That kind of paved the way. Then maybe around 2027, you see platforms like the source mentions WanderAI and RealScape VR really pushing the envelope. They introduce these full-scale sensory travel experiences. And by 2030, the choice becomes pretty stark for a lot of people. Pack a real suitcase and just power up your headset.
Right. And you can't really discuss this kind of shift without talking about the early 2020s pandemic, can you? That period feels like it must have laid some serious groundwork for this whole virtual revolution.
It absolutely did. A crucial catalyst. Lockdowns basically forced virtual alternatives onto everyone out of necessity, right? Physical travel just wasn't an option for a while. But the really interesting part is what happened after the world reopened. People had gotten a taste of the convenience of virtual exploration, and for many, that appeal was just incredibly strong. Hard to give up.
That convenience angle is huge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You start asking yourself, why spend all those hours in transit? Why drop thousands on flights and hotels when AI can potentially give you a comparable or at least a very compelling experience in seconds from your couch?
Mm-hmm.
Did the source touch on whether people felt it was truly comparable?
That's a really good point, and it gets to the heart of how the value of travel was reframed. This push for convenience, combined with just relentless tech innovation, fueled what the source called immersive tourism. AI got smarter, started analyzing your preferences to tailor these virtual journeys, making them feel super personal. And the mixed reality environments, mixed with real-time AI data feeds, they created moments that felt so authentic, sometimes you apparently couldn't even tell the difference. The idea of a weekend trip to Machu Picchu just becoming part of a monthly subscription plan, that's the kind of shift we're talking about.
So it wasn't just about holidays then. What about the business world? Did companies jump on this too? I imagine the cost savings would be incredibly tempting.
Oh, absolutely. The source makes a big point of this. It suggests business travel pretty much evaporated by 2029. Companies were really eager to slash travel budgets. So they embraced these AI-driven holographic meetings in a big way. Think about it. An executive could be at a conference in London in the morning, one in Singapore in the afternoon, all without leaving their office.
And we're not just talking fancy Zoom calls here, right? These were actual holograms.
Far more sophisticated, yeah. The AI powering them wasn't just about showing a 3D image. It could apparently replicate presence much more effectively. It could even subtly adjust the hologram's mannerisms, its behavior, to fit the cultural context of the meeting. That totally transformed how companies engaged internationally, made virtual feel much more effective, much more personal.
Okay, so that obviously creates huge waves, winners and losers. Airlines must have been facing an absolute nightmare. Suddenly, their most reliable, high-margin customers, the business travelers, they're just gone.
Yep. An existential crisis, exactly. The source mentions they tried pivoting, offering these ultra-luxury, exclusive, true travel experiences for the leisure market. But even those big efforts couldn't really stop the bleeding from the loss of business travel. The core market had fundamentally shifted.
So who came out on top? Tech companies, I assume.
Definitely. Tech innovators were the big winners. The source names companies like Journey and Virtual Horizon. They became the giants, dominating this new immersive travel market. Their AI platforms basically created a whole new era of digital exploration. And, another winner, everyday people. Suddenly, millions who maybe never had the chance or the funds to travel internationally could experience the world. Costs plummeted, accessibility shot up. It opened up horizons for so many.
But if tech and some travelers won, there must have been significant downsides, too. Those tourist hotspots, the places that rely on physical visitors, what happened to them?
Yeah, that's the harsh reality highlighted in the source. Those tourism-dependent economies faced really steep declines. Virtual tourism, by its nature, kind of disconnects the economic benefit from the actual place. You consume the experience, but you don't buy lunch there, you don't stay in a local hotel, you don't hire a local guide.
Right. No money actually flows into the local community.
Exactly. So local businesses, entire communities really struggled. The virtual visitors contributed basically nothing to the on-the-ground economy.
And the airlines and hotels we mentioned earlier just left scrambling to survive.
Pretty much. Unprecedented drops in demand forced massive restructuring. They had to completely rethink their business models or pivot dramatically just to stay afloat in a world where physical travel became, niche.
Okay, so you have this incredible technology, this accessibility, but it sounds like it wasn't universally celebrated. The source mentions a growing debate.
Oh, a fierce debate, absolutely. On one side, you had advocates praising the inclusivity, the efficiency, the reduced environmental impact, potentially. But on the other side, you had skeptics arguing that something vital, something intangible was being lost in translation, that the simulation wasn't the same as reality.
And this led to a counter-movement.
Yeah, by around 2029, this true travel movement really gained steam. Proponents were passionate about the value of, raw, unfiltered, real-world experiences, the messy, unpredictable stuff. There's a quote mentioned from an activist, something like, "No simulation can replace getting lost in a foreign city or sharing a meal with strangers." Travel is about more than sights. It's about connection. That really captures the sentiment.
That's powerful. It touches on something deeply human, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So how did the industry, or parts of it, respond to that demand for realness?
Well, in a really interesting twist, some boutique travel agencies saw an opportunity. They started offering these curated, completely technology-free adventures. They call them analog escapes. Basically, trips designed for people wanting genuine tactile experiences. No headsets, no AI guides, just the beautiful unpredictability of a real world.
A conscious uncoupling from the tech.
Exactly. Disconnecting to actually connect.
So wrapping this up, by 2030, the landscape of travel, as described in this source, is utterly transformed. AI and mixed reality have democratized global experience in ways we can barely imagine now. Barriers of cost, geography, even physical ability just crumble. But this growing backlash, this true travel movement, it points to a much deeper question, doesn't it? A really fundamental question for us. What is it we're really looking for when we decide to travel?
Precisely. Is it the seamless convenience? The curated perfection? Visiting amazing places without any of the downsides like jet lag or language barriers, experiencing it all exactly how you want?
Or is it something else? Is it the journey itself? The unpredictability, the chance encounters, the moments you absolutely cannot plan or simulate, the genuine connections you might make.
That's the core tension, isn't it?
Yeah. And maybe that's the most provocative thought to leave you, the listener, with today. The future of travel, maybe it's less about how we'll get there and more about understanding why we want to go in the first place. By 2030, that why seems to become the central question.